Alright, being locked up has fucking sucked. I could try and point out a few of the positives, like the extra time I've been spending with my cat, but it's mostly been hell. When did I become so boring? Or was I always boring and I didn't realize it? Honestly, I've run out of things to talk about. It feels like nothing new happens anymore. Is the world still out there? So I've been spending my time watching Dan Marino highlights, drinking more than I have in 10 years, and staying up for 36 hours straight. Needless to say, it's been an adjustment.
Please rewind this cassette.
So the real question is, what have I been watching? Well, a little bit of everything, to be honest. I've gone back to a different time when the TV ruled man, the glow of the screen ever so gently lighting up our faces. The TV is proto YouTube. Everything we experience now has some sort of origin in television. Dare I say that TV's a little bit more friendly than computers? Something about modern technology is insect like. The TV smiles at you, and you back at it. I'm subscribed to 100 different streaming services. I don't remember my password to 47 of them. So, what to watch? Perhaps I dive into nostalgia with Step by Step. Hey, it's Dallas meets Three's Company. That Cody guy was pretty funny, and there's that episode where he beats up all those bikers with karate. Or I could watch Family Matters and realize that Steve Urkel doesn't become a focus until late within the first season. Every streaming service has different movies, so it's a pain in the ass to find what you're actually looking for. Wait, Hulu has Swingers? Holy shit. I got the Criterion Channel of hopes of rediscovering my love for art house cinema. But no, it turns out I'm so cynical that I find issue with Jules and Jim, or as I like to call it, Cuck and Simp. So many questions arise. Why are early Errol Morris films so fascinating and yet so dull at the same time? What's the best movie of the Three Colors trilogy? Where the fuck is Bull Durham? I think it's time to marathon a reality show. I go back to Hulu and find Lego Masters, a show in which players compete in building stuff with toy blocks. Of course, I fall in love with a couple of guys, and of course, the dudes that I fall in love with get to the finals, and of course, they lose because of something unfair that I've convinced myself is the one and only reason. The one guy who's a judge is the best part. His passion and empathy make the show stand out. He actually feels like he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't have that whole celebrity energy around him. He's worth watching. So then I watched Dave starring Little Dicky. It's an FXX show, but it's on Hulu. And I'm thinking about saving that for its own review because I really liked a lot of things about it and I would like to break them down more. So, what do? Do you watch stuff that you love? Maybe the things you always think about watching, but you put off to the side because you've seen it too many times, like Raiders of the Lost Ark? Or maybe it's the things you never got around to seeing. Am I in the right mindset to even appreciate something properly? Netflix had Tiger King, something that, like an overplayed hit song on the radio, has turned into a bit of an annoying comfort. I can't possibly say there's nothing to watch, because there very much is. But it's like I can't will myself to watch as much stuff as I always thought I would. So I said screw it, and I just replayed Symphony of the Night.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you!
Now I find myself back at the beginning, trapped in my apartment with my friend the TV. Can you help me? I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I want to know right now, what will it be?
I don't wanna wait for our lives to be over. I want
Dawson? Is that you? Okay, rewatching Dawson's Creek has been a journey like few others. One of the most important shows of the late 90s is back in my life, and the Vanderbeek is not underrated in this house. So the guy who wrote Scream and Joss Whedon helped kick off the CW. Kevin Williamson did this, and Whedon did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Controversial at the time for its taboo plot lines, including a teacher in her mid-30s seducing and sleeping with a 15-year-old. What's great about this storyline is that it's morally all over the place. The show is very meta when it comes to movies, so during conversations, the characters bring up movies like The Graduate or Summer of 42. The main character, Dawson, is an aspiring filmmaker who gets caught up in a love triangle between the new girl and his best friend. Wait, so this guy has to pick between Michelle Williams and Katie Holmes? Jesus Christ, what a great life. Dawson works at a video store and happens to look like a certain YouTuber's avatar. Is there a connection? Dawson is the most likable lead of any teen show I've ever seen. He's so pure that it's borderline creepy. The beautiful town they live in is creepy as well. Sometimes it feels like I'm watching a live-action version of Scooby-Doo. All of the kids are 15, but look 20, and they act 12. It's amazing. There's great episodes that parody famous movies. One is The Breakfast Club, but with Bender being a female character. The other is a horror episode that shares DNA with the final act of Scream. Dawson's passion and good nature could come across as really cringe, but the acting is so good that it all just sort of works. It feels like a cast of movie stars, and Michelle Williams is just way too good to mean something like this. Almost every episode begins with Dawson and Joey watching movies in his room. They have a conversation that helps set up the theme of the episode, and then the next 30 minutes is dedicated to bringing us back to some sort of place of understanding. It all looks and sounds beautiful. The late 90s music has aged like wine. I mega ship Dawson and Joey, but yet I know it's not meant to be. The show is Private Lessons meets Cinema Paradiso. Who's my favorite TV character? Not Tony Soprano, not Walter White. It's Dawson. It always was. Hey, look, Fiona Apple has a new album. New York Times wrote an article letting us know that Pitchfork gave it a perfect score of 10 out of 10. Never let anyone tell you that journalism is dead. So now I'm back to the TV, my oldest friend. You've known me for so long, and I've known you with 1,000 different faces. What face am I looking at now? Who are you? Oh, cool, I can watch the Parks and Recreation reunion on YouTube. Alright, so what are my thoughts? Technically really well pulled off considering everything, but I'm upset that it was all fan service. The final 5 minutes saved the whole thing from feeling like a waste of time. There's some real emotion here. It really did feel like seeing my old friends again. Thanks for that. What's next? Say Anything? Tom Green on Joe Rogan? If I stream the podcast to my TV, is that the same thing as watching TV? Or does that make my TV nothing more than a large computer monitor? I got a new coffee table paid for by my daddy government who gives me my allowance. I put my feet on it and I try to relax. Some days it's just so hard to relax. One of the most recent things I've watched is a show called 60 Days In. It follows people who volunteer to stay in prison for 2 months. When someone finishes, they discuss ways in which to fix the current system. And after 60 days of this, I hope we can do the same.